Welcome back everyone, Toy Shiz here, and I am back yet again for yet another McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse video. And today, we're going to be checking out one of the newest McFarlane Online Gold Label exclusives, and this may come as a shock to everybody, but it's Batman. Not just any Batman. Batman 85, Norm Brayfogle Batman, early 90s Batman. Take your pick on what you want to call it. But it is a Gold Label online store exclusive, or at least it was. It quickly sold out. So McFarlane Toys, you got to make more of these. I think people will definitely appreciate that. Hailing from Detective Comics number 587 entitled Night People, of which, yes, the artwork definitely resembles the figure inside the box, albeit the colors are definitely going to be swapped out a bit. And here's the barcode, and like I said, McFarlane Toys, make more of this because, yeah, it's actually a pretty cool Batman. So this is going to be an absolute blast. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys online Gold Label exclusive Batman. Batman 85, Night People Batman, Norm Brayfogle Batman. Like I said, take a pick. Here we go. Alright, so now here's everything out of the packaging, and as you can clearly see, this is basically a Build-A-Batman. Make the Batman how you'd like. No, he does not come with any flight stands. They're just aiding me today in kind of this whole setup you see before you. But he does come with a variety of hands. Some cool Batman Norm Brayfogle hands. Very expressive hands. Not the creepy hands we usually get. They are cool hands. And we also get a set of punching hands and item holding hands. Go figure. Now you also get a really cool bat gas mask. You're gonna have to heat this up. It's a little bit too small as it is. You're gonna kind of have to fiddle with it and get it to kind of stretch out a little bit to make it work. But when you do, it's actually pretty cool. I can just envision this Batman getting doused with scarecrow toxin, and he quickly goes into his utility belt, pulls out the gas mask, takes his cape, shields his face. Pretty cool. Now, you do get a Batarang. It's a bit of a bluish black. It matches this Batman's color scheme. We've seen this before, but it totally works. And you get the head of Scarface, of which hails from the specific comic book run of which we are getting this figure. Now, it's a little bit on the big side. I could see this ventriloquist head being bigger with a smaller body if they wanted to go that route. But unfortunately, the hands are not going to exactly work to holding the neck piece, we'll just say. But what I do see is a very well-detailed, very cool Scarface head, which makes me want a ventriloquist and Scarface for the DC Multiverse ASAP. Now, before you see a Batman body, and I'm going to show you how everything works here. Unfortunately, you have to use one of the two cape setups to complete the Batman. You just can't have the cowl minus the cape, which is fine, but I really wish you had that option. So you're going to get a darker color scheme for the gray, darker color scheme for the blue, but it's largely just going to be the Nightfall body, and I totally dig it. I think that's a great body type for Batman. It's very tight. You got every element that you would need to make up the Batman, which I most definitely appreciate, from the gauntlets to the boots. Yes, he's got pins for days. Hopefully, eventually, they change that. And I in particular like how the symbol isn't sculpted into the chest. It's part of, well, for lack of a better term, his bat shirt. Now I'll go ahead and show you the bendy wire cape first. Largely, this is going to be one of those crunchy type taffeta capes. It is done nicely. It has the shoulder pauldrons, the big old Spawn kind of hook shoulders, which I absolutely love. And the bendy wire is really nice, especially on this side with that extra little tuft right here, which, yes, there is a full bendy wire in, which you can have Batman hold or get it wrapped around his hand to kind of swoosh away some Joker toxin, some Scarecrow gas, something like that. But what I've liked to have seen is a little pocket right there of which you could slip the Batman hand into, and it would be a lot more naturalistic. You can get it wrapped around his arm. You can get it really cool looking, a la Batman the Animated Series, which I totally appreciate. Again, I love the pointiness of the shoulders. The neck is great. You simply just swap the heads between the two cape selections. Though, the problem, if I have one of any, is the back part of the cape. While the bendy wire works great on the sides, getting it kind of enclosed in the back is another tricky part, of which it works and it really doesn't. Now, what I would have liked to have seen is some extra bendy wire within the cape, kind of like a Man-Bat situation, and that way you could have controlled that a bit better. Overall, though, I'm glad we have the option of a cloth to plastic cape, and for the most part, it's pretty cool. Now, to get this on the Batman, again, like I said, make sure you got the head already installed and just simply port it onto the shoulders. And it works really cool. Yeah, except until you want to move any of the arms. And this is where this Batman, while it is an action figure, is very much for display purposes, photography purposes. You really have to hold the back of the cape if you want to move the arms. You can move the arms, but not too high, and that's going to be a major problem for a lot of people. You're going to probably go, oh, I really wish that was done better. And I'll agree with you on that. But for what I want this for as a display purpose and wrapping the cape around his hand, that totally works. I'm not playing with these action figures. I will do some photography. I will take product shots, things like that. But this works for me in terms of just posability. And I like that you can get the cape going all the way out. And that, again, is where some of those little pockets around the cape, something like that, would have worked to kind of hide the hands within the cape, make it look like he's just kind of blending into it. That's what I would like to see for the next type cape for this. Overall, though, I think it's pretty solid. And like I said, this is my favorite aspect, is getting that whole swoosh of the cape, and I think it works fairly well. Again, later iterations kind of change it up, improve upon the formula, and I think overall you'll have something great here. But from the angled spiky shoulders to the cape and the bendy wire, it's pretty darn cool. Now, in terms of the larger plastic static piece, heck yeah, that works really well as well. And I like that it's really just not too heavy, but heavy enough to really just kind of support the figure. And yes, with this cape applied, it does become very statuesque, but it's very evocative of the artwork of which it's based off of, and that's what I want to see. It even has a little bit of a standy piece right there to help support the figure while it's on his shoulders. So overall, I totally dig this cape as well. Now, with the head portrait, when they first sent out solicitations, I said, let's wait to see what it looks like in hand. And I was basically correct, because I like it so much better in hand. It's very Kenner-ish, but I like the look. It's the kind of Batman face, the eyes, everything that I'd like to see as something different. But again, having this more solid cape applied, that is the artwork from the back of the box. That's what I want to see, so it definitely works. And again, for what I'm aiming to use this for, to just have as a very cool Batman that has articulation, but simply just standing on my shelf, and from back to front, you can see that it has some nice texturing to it. It's very comic book in its nature. It's very McFarlane with the Spawn capes, the Batman capes, Norm Brayfogle, the over-exaggeration of the cape. Nobody's walking around with a cape like that. Well, except for one guy, and he lives in Gotham City, and he goes by the name of Batman. Now, a great pack-in as well is this awesome gargoyle platform standee. This is one of the coolest things in the box because you can use it with so many other figures, Batman figures, heck, Spider-Man, if you wanted to go that route. But the details, the goat head, the big old bird with the chain around its beak, it's very flat. It works, and it's just very cool in and of itself. They pulled that right from the comic books. It has two pegs on it to where you can stand your Batman on it, however you'd so choose, with the plastic cape or with, of course, the cloth cape. But overall, as far as a complete set, as Batman with the stand, with various capes, with a cool head portrait, gadgets, a little wink and a nod to a villain, this is actually a great box set, and this is what I want to see more of. There's a lot of thought going on around here. So when you have Batman with the plastic cape on this gargoyle, that is awesome, and that's really all it needs to be. You can still articulate this Batman if you so choose, but ultimately, you think about it, you go, well, this is how I would really just choose to display it. Batman atop a gargoyle, looking out over Gotham City. You can't ask for something more. And just to really show you the difference, you have the Nightfall Batman, and you have this Batman 85, and there's really little to no difference in the body type, except for the sculpted in bat emblem, of which, again, I like it when it's just part of the costume, not raised. There's really not that much difference, especially in the articulation. It's just the head portraits and then the capes. But this is the type of Batman you get to have fun with, especially with characters like Victor Zsasz, of which we got earlier this year. This goes together nicely. The Joker, the newest Joker figure, looks great with this Batman. So you're really starting to formulate a really cool McFarlane Toys collection. It has just taken a while to kind of reach this point. If you want to go more for the younger Robin with this Batman, sure, that totally works. Or you can go Nightfall Nightwing, or the Tim Drake Robin. Yes, these all line up well, except for, let's say, the Tim Drake Robin. I would love a redo on him eventually. You don't have to do it just yet. But we really haven't gotten the perfect Superman yet either. I've had to kind of cobble mine together, but I'm liking what I'm seeing, and hopefully any day now we see one of those perfect Supermans coming from McFarlane Toys. But these two look good together. But I have to say, with those shoulder pauldron spikes, with the very expressive cape, while it is more so Norm Brayfogle, it is a little bit Spawn Batman War Devils, I will say. So if you have any type Spawn, especially one with the shoelace face, these actually go together quite nicely, and I would say that if you are looking for a cool forthcoming Spawn Batman, well, you might want to check store shelves. Are coming soon. Hopefully they announce it, but there is one technically hitting, but more on that in just a few. But I love how these mesh together. So that is going to wrap it up for my quick look at the brand new McFarlane Toys online store gold label exclusive Batman. And through, this is what I want to see in terms of a gold label exclusive and then just a complete thought on an action figure. I think a lot of people will probably disagree. They'll probably have a lot more nitpicks than me and kind of how the cape attaches. It can be kind of cumbersome sometimes when you want to move the Batman around and the cape keeps popping off. But once you get it figured out, once you get him in that static pose, you get him on the gargoyle, you have him standing with your other figures. He is very cool. This is not going to be the Batman for people that love to play with their figures. This is going to be a pass for you. But for those of you who have been looking for a cool Batman, more so one from the 80s to 90s, around that era, look no further than this Batman 85. So, you've heard my thoughts, and now I'm curious to know yours. Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything DC Multiverse. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, okay, that's it. DC Multiverse is done. We are moving on. Next video, something non-McFarlane. Promise you that. And when we do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.